My next guest was one of the big winners last weekend at UFC Orlando, getting it done. Second round finish over Kyle Daukaus. It's your boy, Eryk Anders, back here on the program. Eryk, how are you, man?
Man, doing well, man. Yeah, the only way I could be doing better is if I'd won a bonus. But other than
Yeah.
that, 2 checks is, I'll make it work.
By the way, are you back home now or are you in Arizona? Where am I getting you today? I know you're in the car, obviously.
Yeah, I'm back home, man. Just want to pick the one of my kids up from school. So, back
Yeah.
to dad life.
Yeah. How is that? Do you kind of feel like Clark Kent, like here you are just beating people up in the cage and now you're back to being Eryk Anders, the dad? I can relate because I obviously have to pick up my kids from school and it's like, people have no idea what I do for a living.
Yeah, for sure. It's man, you go, man, it's kind of crazy because you go from like being by yourself all the time when you're not training and stuff. There's no noise. There's nobody to pick up, no practices to watch, or no homework to help with or anything like that. Then, boom, you come back and all of a sudden I got like cook meals for for kids and feed them and help them with homework and do all the other stuff that I mentioned. So yeah, it's definitely the it's two different lives for real.
Do any, like when you're picking up your kids, I don't know if you see any other parents, did they like know like what you do? Like, is any dads coming up and be like, hey, great finish or anything like that?
Usually when I'm at their practices, there'd be football practice, wrestling practice, basketball practice. People will walk over, tap me on the shoulder or whatever. Hey, congratulations, good job, or whatever. Or I guess the main question is like, how do you do that, or why do you do that, or whatever.
That's true.
I just ask them, why do you do what you do?
Yeah,
my job's
exactly.
way better than yours.
I agree. Hey, outside of a first round finish, could that fight have gone any better?
I couldn't have. I like my face isn't rearranged. I don't have any like major injuries. I had thought for a minute that I had broke my hand, but it feels way better today, and it's it should be good. I'm gonna go get it checked out, later this week and see what's up.
I know you expected to win the fight, obviously, why sign the contract, but did you expect to be that dominant in the fight?
Yeah, well, kind of like my my personal life is in a bit of chaos right now, and it's I think I just kind of like thrive under that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of whatever. So just go train, and then while you're training, you kind of forget. So you just kind of like focus more on fighting, so you can like not have to deal with the other stuff. So it's good. Yeah. So I'd like there was no other option.
Was there anything about Kyle in the fight that surprised you at all?
I thought he'd be more desperate for takedowns. I thought that he would. I didn't necessarily think that like he was like a great wrestler, like an open mat wrestler, like shooting on doubles and singles and stuff. But he backed up to the cage a lot easier than I thought he would. He didn't put me on the cage outside of the second round. I don't like to think of that second round is how like him pressing forward, trying to grab me and smother my punches and put me up against the cage and trying to take me down. But I don't know what his thought process was because he didn't try a whole lot of takedowns for real in the first round, and he was desperate in the second round, but by then it was too late.
How much do you factor as well? I don't know if this is something you thought of sort of going into the fight, but he hadn't fought that long ago. If you think about the last time he fought and he was finished, and obviously he had the issue with his face where, he took some serious damage. Was that something in the back of your head, in the fight, just knowing that, he hadn't fought that long ago after a pretty serious loss?
When I signed the contract, I thought about that because, I watch every fight that comes on, and I watched that happen to him, and then, just a few months later, they asked me if I wanted to fight, and I was like, man, are y'all sure that he's gonna, be ready? I look pretty severe. And then I went and grappled with Petrosky in Philly, where he's from, and people were telling me that like he had that whole like wire mesh put in his face, and whenever they have to do that, I broke my face in a fight before, but nothing like shifted, so they didn't have to do any surgery. So for them to have to, do whatever they do to, fix your face. That means that, your face, you took a lot of damage. It means it's like the bones in your face were like moved around and shifted and stuff. So they have to like move it back and like reinforce it and whatever. So yeah, I was like, but whatever, dude, I'm not him. I can't tell. Like, as far as I knew, like, he would be 100%. And, maybe that's why, he was getting dropped so easy and so much, because it just, it probably hurts a lot more. I know when I broke my face, I damaged a nerve in my face and it, like, in my cheek. And for about 6-7 months, while that nerve was like regenerating, it just felt like electricity was like shooting through my face. So I can only imagine, how his face actually required them to, open him up, how his face felt.
First finish since June of 2019. I know they talked about it on the broadcast, but you got to be feeling good about that, just to, get back to the old ya boy where you were finishing a lot of your opponents.
Yeah, I think that, that fight right there is my brand of fighting. You know what I mean? When I made my debut, it was a little bit more controlled, not as chaotic. But when I let the hands go, it was doing a lot of damage. So, and, just the relentless pressure and pushing forward and, that kind of stuff. That's just kind of how I need to fight and how I should have been fighting. I'm not a finesse fighter. I'm a grimy, in your face, take a little bit to give a lot kind of thing. So, yeah, that's, what you can look forward to coming forward. I
So
grab some of these bags.
You get a big win like this. How do you celebrate?
Well, I haven't really celebrated yet for real. I kind of went out on Saturday night, but the fights didn't end till like 1:30 in the morning. So I really didn't
Right. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's true.
much
So probably
party
just ate a
time.
good meal and went to bed, right?
Bed? No, dude. I was out, and then everything's 20 minutes away, so didn't leave the bar or whatever till like 3. Then probably didn't
Okay,
get
so you
back
had a
till
good
like
night then.
4.
Okay.
So I had to like pack my bags, and I was on the thing on the bus to the airport at like 5. So I really didn't get to celebrate for real. So but I guess like for me, like coming home, seeing the smile on my kids' face, taking them out to eat, hanging out with them, and just seeing how excited they are to see their dad go out there and do that to somebody and compete and win. And Christmas is right around the corner, so it definitely helps. Christmas shopping and things like that.
One thing I was curious about, your teammate Jonathan Pierce got a pretty big win on the card as well. How uplifting was that? Just the team in general doing quite well. It's unfortunate what happened with Tracy Cortez, but with Jonathan winning, did that add a little bit more to your fight?
Yeah, and we all grinded. All 3 of us grinded all through camp together. So it was just kind of like an extra like push. You know what I mean? To go out there, perform, and be prepared, because sometimes the fight is won or lost in the preparation and the training for the gym. So we all 3 of us kind of left no stone unturned and had each other's backs and motivated each other. So yeah, it's cool to go out there and to grind with somebody all through camp, and then for you both to go out there and get a win. I think Jonathan Pierce wasn't too far away from getting a finish himself, but for sure a dominating performance.
You're going to be looking for a new contract, right? If I'm not mistaken, because that like you're towards the end of your deal, aren't you?
I got one more fight, and so man, I would really like to fight it by the end of the year, either this week or next week, and maybe we can make that happen. I get a new contract, go out there and knock somebody else out or whatever, just another dominating victory, and talk numbers after that.
Don't you usually renegotiate on the last fight though, or do you want to fight out your contract and see what your options are after? Because I know there's a lot of intriguing things going on right now.
Yeah, I would love to like get a new contract before I get to the last fight, because but at the same time, like I lost my 2 before this one, so I'm 2-1 in my last 3, or 1-2 in my last 3. So I gotta. But best thing about this sport is, what have you done for me lately? So even if
Well,
I
that's what I
finish
mean.
the
You're coming off
contract,
a dominant win. You got to finish.
yeah,
I mean, I would say you have a bit of leverage here, right, in terms of renegotiating that next one. Or do you feel
yeah,
like you need to take one more? I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, if Jason House can make that happen before I get this next fight, that'd be cool. But if not, like I understand, the business part of it. So it's all good. I just got to go out there and win in a dominating fashion. And, they will give me a new contract. If not, then, adios.
Would you go? But I mean, the guy you fought, we saw is now gone over to PFL, could potentially win $1 million at light heavyweight is Thiago Santos. Is that something you look at and say, hey, that might be interesting? I'd like $1 million.
Obviously, like, money talks, but man, to be honest, like, unless they're talking like real money, like, I'll probably be done when the UFC is done with me. To be honest, I got
okay. I like
a couple other streams of revenue. Like, I don't have to do this anymore. But I really
like being a TV star, right? Cobra Kai and all that, right? So there you go.
If I can make that pop off, then that would be the best. But that's also a tough industry to break into. So yeah, once the UFC is done with me, and that's what it's going to take for me to be done, is they're going to have to tell me, like, don't come back no more. So
yeah. Okay.
But we'll see, man, because some of these other promotions are throwing out big money. So yeah, money talks. But if they're not talking the numbers that I want them to talk, then I'm in a position I don't have to do this.
That's awesome. Okay, you kind of mentioned it there. You want to fight as soon as possible, but when realistically do you think you'll want to have that next fight? Because I'm sure you want to enjoy the holidays a bit, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I could get one more in before, I guess.
Well, there's one more card left. It's next Saturday at the time we're recording this, so I think you got. Yeah, I mean, it's the clock's ticking, right? If you unless there's an injury or something, right? So.
Yeah, sure. And, the UFC knows I'm always ready to step up. So yeah, whatever.
Would that have to be a light heavyweight though? Because I know you do cut some weight to get to 185.
Dude, I have done, and I also think that's another big difference in this fight from previous fights is I was way lighter on Fight Night.
Cool.
I was only like 210 this time. I've been as big as 225, and it's just too big.
Yeah.
So like I'm like 210 still right now. So I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna hold it down in case I get that phone call. So yeah.
And if you don't get short notice, any opponents you're looking at? I did see you wanted, I think it was Jamie Pickett, but they've actually rescheduled that fight with him and Bo Nickel. I think it's going to be happening next year. Oh, sorry, I lost you there for a sec.
Sorry. What about Jamie Pickett?
No, I was just saying, I believe in your post fight, you talked about maybe stepping in and getting that fight with, because Jamie Pickett lost his opponent, but I believe they rescheduled that fight with him and Bo Nickel. So is there any other names you're looking at?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Man, it don't matter to me, man. 85, 180, or 205, you know me, man. I show up. So yeah, it's whatever for me. But I didn't know that they had rescheduled.
Yeah, they did. Like right because it was Bo Nickel who was out, so they ended up rescheduling it. I think it's going to be on that the rumored John Jones and Nagano card, the one in March in Vegas. I think that's what they're rescheduling it to. So.
Okay, well, yeah, and then I kind of feel like a bit of an asshole to call out somebody who already has.
No worries. Hey, listen, it's hard to. You were in deep in camp. I think that one kind of flew under the radar. To be honest, I kind of forgot about it too. So.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't care whoever, man. It's whatever for me.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. Eryk, thanks for doing this. I'll let you get back to being a dad. If there's anyone you want to thank, sponsor, social media, you name it, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, always rocking with, Rev Gear. And, man, just everybody who, tunes in, watches, and supports me, man. It means a lot. Someday nobody's going to care about who I am. So, it really makes me feel special when, messages and things like that, saying like congratulations or awesome job or whatever. So